Hello there and welcome. This is Africa Online Media Corporation. Greetings and welcome to everyone tuning into Africa Online Media Corporation on this day. It is Sunday and we begin the day with this quote, which I cannot immediately attribute to somebody, but it runs like this, quote, "Every day arrives with a quiet gift, time. We often spend our seconds rushing, worrying, planning, and trying to catch up, but gratitude only takes a moment. One sincere thank you. You soften the heart, reset the mind, and remind us that life itself is already a blessing. Yes, life is always a blessing. We thank the Creator for everything. We are in the 6th month of 2026. It is called June and has a length of 30 days. June comes after May and July. It marks the start of summer in the Northern Hemisphere and contains the summer solstice, which is the day with the most daylight hours. Call it the longest day. June, named after Juno, the goddess of youth, signifies the midpoint of the year, bringing with it longer sunny days. The June solstice or summer solstice is the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere and occurs between June 20th, 21st, or 22nd. It occurs around that time. Today, however, is June 7th. It is the first Sunday of the month, and it is the 158th day of the year. That means that there are 207 days left until 2026 ends. June 7th is the 23rd Sunday of the year on the 24th week of 2026. It is the 80th day of spring, or 14 days till the beginning of summer. So in 2 weeks, summer will swing in full swing. If I can repeat myself, summer will be here. And of course, we already are having very, very hot days. But as at now, it is 77 degrees here in Bowie, where I am. And on Africa Online Media Corporation this day, we commemorating men, all the men that is, and this is because Father's Day is celebrated this month on the 3rd Sunday, that is on the 21st. We are aware that we are not yet there, yes, so we are not rushing. So we devote our June 7th discussion to men's contributions to the family, men's contributions to the community, men's contributions to the country. What are men's contributions, challenges, and responsibilities? Have men lived up to societal expectations in dealing with their family, in dealing with their community, and in dealing with national responsibilities? Or does society expect too much, or is it too little from their menfolk? Join our discussion and help raise awareness about the contributions and or responsibilities of the menfolk. This is important and necessary for several reasons. When society values and gets men involved, family well-being is upgraded and parenting enhanced. Responsibilities are better shared and there is greater emotional support. At the community level, there is more active citizen involvement and mentorship. This brings about greater social cohesion, which extends to the national level with more men being involved in education, advocacy, and leadership. It has been said that recognizing and valuing these contributions, quote, helps break gender stereotypes, promotes gender equality, and strengthens societies for everyone, end of quote. That said, And I pause this reflection at this point and invite the chair of Africa Online Media Corporation, Her Royal Highness, Her Highness, Reverend Dr. Pam Fumanung, to welcome us all and our guests to the discussion table. Reverend Pam.
Yeah, Niason, thank you so very much. I love you. On behalf of Africa Online Media Corporation, I really truly want to appreciate you for the last 10 years, and hoping we'll be here forever, and we need to prepare the next generation to take over. Niason. But I want to thank you for your faithfulness. Our co-anchor, Ambassador Lisa, is driving. She'll be joining us shortly. And I want to thank all our listeners and viewers, those who are watching on YouTube and those who are going to watch on Facebook. Yes, we are dedicating equal time to the men. We gave the entire month of March to women, and also, honored them on Mother's Day. So we are giving the entire month of June to men. And today we are going to be looking at the contributions of men in the home, in the society, in the community, community society, and in the world. So we are giving men equal time. A lot of times our men go unappreciated. So we want to dedicate this month to appreciating our men. Over to you, Niason.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you that we devote this month to the men. The men do a lot, but most often it goes unrecognized. We tend to just ignore and take for granted the role men play in our daily lives and in our society, that is, in the home, in the society, and in the family, in the nation. Very often we think that men ought to be doing what they do, but then we always need to, as that quote I brought at the beginning told us, we need to say thank you. Thank you for being who you are, for being there when you are there, and for contributing to either making our family happy and happier, or making our society go round, or making our country work the way it ought to work. Because very often, more often than not, we think that the men should be doing what they do. They have been there, they should do it, whether they like it or not. It is not a question of like it or not, or liking it or not liking it. It is a question of us, at least, turning around to say, thank you. Thank you for having given me the opportunity to know you, for having given me the opportunity to work with you, for supporting me in my role, for being a mentor to me or to my family or to my child, for being a good role model for the children that are growing up in our community. So we have to always find time to appreciate the men for who they are, for what they are doing, and of course, to show that love, that without the love, they cannot just be ignored, they cannot just do what they do because they are men. Yes, they were created, man was created first, but man has the responsibility of being the family head, of being the community leader, of being the national leader in many cases these days, because women's roles are less and less, because many men are challenging the women for doing what they do. Well, things are changing, and they will change. Whatever we say and do, women will play their roles, women will come in, women will seek always to rise above the fray and be able to support the community just as the men do, because men and women have to work together. I remember a friend telling me one day, some time ago, that beside every man, no longer behind every man, but beside every man stands a woman. And the role women play is sometimes even more challenging to the roles of men than we know it to be. Whatever, let us together, like finger and nail, work together for the betterment of our communities, of our society, of our families. That said, it is time to always say, yes, we appreciate you, we recognize you, and I see our co-host just joined, and I hope she is no longer driving. I hope she's safe where she is.
She better be home.
Ambassador Lisa, it is better to see you. It is good to see you. And I like that green, because if my color this time is right, I'm not very good in color, but I think that is green. And I appreciate you. And please welcome to the program today. And please, if you are ready to speak, go ahead and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Professor Nia Sung.
My
Reverend
God,
Pam,
I
good
love the
afternoon.
green. That's tie and dye.
Amen. Thanks so much. Yes, I am parked. I got home as fast as I could and discovered I had no house keys. So I drove over here to my son's house, and he is asleep.
Oh.
But we are so grateful for today. I'm telling you, it is hot up here in Philly. There is a thunderstorm warning going on, even though it's in Mount Holly, New Jersey, with hail. They said the size of quarters, and Jersey is just across the bridge from me. So Mount Holly is maybe a half an hour's drive, and they're getting hail. But here in Philadelphia, the sun is shining, the sky is clear and beautiful, and it is hot in my neck of the woods.
Lord.
Yes,
And it is
as I said at the beginning of the program, before I came into my basement to do this program, it was reading 77 degrees in the house. And this promise that it's going to continue rising. So the AC is on. Thank God we have that. So we're able to do what we do.
Well, I don't have any. Listen, get used to it. Ghana is hot. Ghana is right under the equator. Get ready.
It's hot. Yeah, well, Nigeria
we're going to be in air condition. We're going to be in air condition, but when we go out, just bring your fan.
Yes, I already bought another one because the fan that I took to Nigeria, my sister said it was not going back, so she kept it. I already ordered me another one. But I'm sitting in the shade. I'm parked in the shade on the pavement. There's a nice breeze blowing. So I'm going to just sit out here and do this show today as we are talking about fathers, right?
Yes, their contribution in the home, in the society, in the nation, in the world. But I want to disagree with something Nia Song said. I want to differ. When you said the men are registering women's roles, women are becoming less and less, active, I think it's the opposite. We have come a long way. There are still a lot of men who feel threatened by women, especially in the corporate world, but our roles are growing. They are not diminishing. I just wanted to differ from Nia Song. But Ambassador, this over to you.
Yeah, I think they're not diminishing at all. And yes, the roles are reversing. More women are in the corporate world, while more men are staying at home or becoming stay-at-home dads. But someone needs to be at home to raise the children. I just rode past 3 daycare centers on my way here that said infants accepted. I was like, I can't even imagine leaving my infant in the care of somebody else. They can't talk. They can't tell you when they're hurt. They can't tell you if somebody's hurt them. But the corporate world is requiring that our mothers go back to work so early. So now we're looking for daycare. And daycare is very expensive. Most people are paying upwards of 60% of their salary for daycare expenses. So why are we bothering, we as women, why are we bothering to go to work when all we're doing is paying our daycare fees with our salary? But men are choosing to stay at home. And while I'm not in agreement, well, let me just say it would not work in my household. I don't want my husband staying at home. I want as much as possible that our family would look very much the way God created, that the man works, he provides, he guides, guard, and govern, and that I would be the wife who is the helpmeet, and then our children would be submitted under us. But if it's working for some people, kudos. My youngest child is 39 years old, so I'm not worried about daycare or any of those things.
You better not be worried about daycare.
Worried about daycare, and I feel for these parents who have to deal with these issues. Now, I'm just grateful that my children are all grown and not dealing with any of those things. I was here babysitting my grandsons this morning. My son plays for a church in Delaware on Sunday mornings. He plays for 2 services. So he's up out of the house at 6 o'clock taking that train to get down to Delaware because they have an 8 o'clock and then they have a 10 o'clock service. But when he got back, I jumped in my car to come home. My granddaughter wanted to go, so I had to go way out. I thought I would be back inside of that 2 hours, but traffic was at a crawl. But yes, so our men, while we still honor them, while I honor them, honor them in whatever role they are playing, as long as they are in the house, as long as they're being a shining example of what a man looks like, how a man acts, he's parenting his children, he's trying to be here in his children's life as much as possible. Now, with the roles being reversed in some cases, some of our women have gotten it a little twisted. They have gone too far outside of what God created us to be, and they don't understand how society, the system. Now, people say, what system are you talking about? You can't identify it, you can't pinpoint it, but there is a system that is at work against our men, where if a male and a female both go for a job, the job is going to go to a woman. Even though the woman may not be as qualified, she may be qualified, but the system is designed to keep our men down, to keep them out, because the enemy knows what they were created for. And he's terrified of who they are, who they're supposed to be. But my constant prayer is that our men would step up, walk in purpose, walk in destiny. But yeah, so society has got the roles reversed. And like I said, if it's working in your family, it's working in your household, the woman is not thinking that she's better than you because she brings home more money and treating you badly because you're a stay-at-home dad, then kudos to you. Make it do what it do, as my pastor always says. Make it do what it do.
Okay. I want to say something, and I hope Dr. Ogoji joins us. There was something he mentioned. He said, when he was growing up, the father took care of everything financially, but the mother was the one that did the cooking, the laundry, took them places. So to him, it was mom that did all of those things. So
Right.
He wants to make sure his children don't think their mother their mother is the one doing everything. So he cooks for them, I think once a week or so. Certain thing he makes time to do. And what he was saying was so true, because a lot of children don't remember what their father did for them. They remember what mom did. A lot of them, because like Niasa was saying, we just assume the men are supposed to pay. Yes, they are supposed to pay the bills. They are supposed to be the primary breadwinner. But if a hardworking man, I'm not talking about a gigolo or a lazy person, but a hardworking man loses his job, like now with technology, some people are going to lose their jobs. Some companies are laying off people. But that man needs to be actively looking for work, not throwing a pity party every day. It's okay for the woman to work. And even if the man is working, there's nothing wrong with the woman working to support, but she cannot be responsible for the bills. She cannot be the primary breadwinner. She's a helpmeet. But unfortunately, there are some men that likes to be at home, and they work hard at home because they contribute, they clean, they cook. There are some men who cook better than their wives. I know this couple, they're from the Caribbean, but I'm not going to go further than that. He does all the cooking and she does all the cleaning. She does not like to cook at all. So, and they are happily married. So it is whatever dynamics work for them, the better.
Exactly.
He does all the cooking and she does all the cleaning. So men do contribute in the home.
As long as the dynamic works in the family and it works in the house and the children are happy and well adjusted, the husband and wife are getting along. See, back when I was growing up, there were no jobs for my mother other than being a housewife. And she was good at it. My mother sewed for us every single day. My dad went out to work, and my mother didn't go to work until my youngest brother was in school full time. So have changed. There are jobs that are available for women. They've made, we've got technology and all kinds of things. So it's kind of difficult to expect that the dynamic of the family to be exactly as it was 50 years ago. Let me see, my oldest son is 50. So let's say 60, 70 years ago, because by the time I had my son, I was working right out of high school. So we cannot expect, I would love it to be, I'm very old fashioned, still want a man to open my door, still want him to pull my chair out. when I sit. I want him to be sitting facing the door, watching my back. All those kinds of things I love. But women are not raising their young men to do these things. So it's quite difficult. Now I'm raising my granddaughter. I'm putting into her how a man should treat her, how a man should act. And it is my prayer that the young man who comes along in her life will have been trained basically the same way, that she won't get someone who is lazy, like you said, expecting her to buy his sneakers, pay his child support, and you know, on bail, because that will never work in my house. It never worked in my house. It will never work, nor will it work in my family. But our men, when they are contributing, when they're doing their best, as I said, society has made it where jobs are not readily available because they want the man, especially the black man, to be down. I will be behind you. I will push you 100% as long as I see you trying. Nothing beats a failure but a tryer, my mom used to say. So keep right on trying. Don't go out there and say, I'm not going to get a job because I don't want to contribute. She gets a job, let her do it all. No, those are boys in adult bodies, basically.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
So, even, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, even the dynamics in Africa is changing. When I first started going to Africa, you wouldn't catch a man in the kitchen. My sons told me that was women's work. My fathers would kill us. I said, but your dad is not here, so how's your dad gonna know that you're in the kitchen? And they thought about it, and they just bust out laughing because they had just been so used to what their dad said, that the kitchen was a woman's place. And when I said, y'all go in the kitchen, let the girls come in here and sit down for a minute, they was like, our fathers will call us women. I'm like, your father's not here. How's he gonna call you anything? And they thought about it and bust out laughing. So even the dynamic in Africa, when my pastors come here, they don't go back home expecting their wife to wash all their dirty laundry because they were on the road. If we don't wash the laundry before we pack it and send them back home, they said they go home and do their own laundry. My sisters are teaching their boys to be in the kitchen. When I'm in Nigeria, I teach my nephews all the time, let's go in the kitchen. They like to be in the kitchen with me anyway, because I cook such different things than their traditional food. So I told them, your mother is a pastor. She's the principal, the administrator. She's a wife and a mother. Y'all come home from school and go somewhere and play. She's got to go from dealing with all the kids at school and now go in that kitchen. Y'all can cook something. So I teach them how to make pancakes and waffles and scramble eggs and make a salad just to give her a break. And this time when I was there, she told me she doesn't do dishes at all. She doesn't go in the kitchen to do dishes at all. The boys do the dishes.
Awesome.
They all still share the housework, but I like the fact that the boys do the dishes and keep the kitchen, because they're not all guaranteed to find a woman who's going to do those things. So I think our boys should be trained, especially on the continent as well.
But you know the irony, before Nia Song weighs in, the irony is that when you go to major restaurants and hotels, guess who is in the kitchen? Men. Even
That's true.
Even back home, in
Oh,
Africa,
okay.
where the men normally did not go to the kitchen. When I was in secondary school and high school, the cooks were all men. And they cooked very well. I mean, how ironic is that? Okay, it's okay for the woman to cook at home and not get paid for cooking, but you men want to get paid for cooking in a school or in a restaurant or a hotel.
I never thought about that, but I've never seen the inside of a restaurant, in Africa. But that's an interesting dynamic.
That being said, back in my secondary school days, our cooks in college were all men. We never had a woman cooking for us in secondary school. Yes.
Yep, same with us.
Yes. And that was like something exceptional, because back in the home, in the African context, men hardly enter the kitchen. Even to dish their own food, they don't. They want the wife to cook, dish the food, bring it to the table, and serve him. So those were the days gone by. Unfortunately, these days, although in the villages it still happens, but in the cities, men are now no longer just there to sit and wait for the food to be brought to them. They can stand up, go to the kitchen, serve themselves, come and sit down and eat. It happens in many homes these days, especially for those of us who live abroad. We try to make sure that we divide the time as equally as we can, so that the woman has time to not just rest, but also to be able to do her own work that she has to do. If she has a profession, we honor, respect that, and we let her devote her time as much as she can to that. We don't say, oh, we are the masters, we are the bosses, we only sit and cross our legs and wait for them to serve us. It's no longer like that. It's no longer like that in most of our communities. When I go to parties, I know the men are as much involved in serving the people as the women are involved. So it's no longer just women in the kitchen. It's men and women. And in many cases, as Reverend Pam said, men are prominent in those places where they were never used to be seen. Whatever it is, things are changing, and they are changing for the betterment of society, because the men and the women have to work equally in the different domains to be able to help us all build the society in which we want to live.
I agree. I agree.
That
So
being said,
I never thought about it, but the next time I go to Africa, I'm going to go back in the kitchen in the restaurant. Oh, I'm going to ask to speak to the cooks, and I'm going to ask them, do they cook at home as well, or do they expect their wives? That's interesting that I can be paid to cook, but I won't do it for free.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, things are changing now. That was when we were growing up. Now you see some restaurants have women, but most of them are still men. But yeah, they will get paid. They only get paid to cook. As a matter of fact, I think the irony, even those cooks near some that were cooking in secondary schools, I'm sure when they go back home, their wives are cooking for them.
Yes, I'm sure.
Their wives.
I know.
I'm sure that's dynamic. Mm-hmm.
What prevails in the home in traditional Africa does not obtain outside, especially for those men who cook in the secondary schools, because they are there. Well, maybe because my school was only boys, that was why they were men. But I don't know. Well, you say in your secondary school too, there were men too that cooked.
Secondary school and high school, most schools in Cameroon, and I'm sure it wasn't just limited to Cameroon.
Yeah,
I'm sure. And then also we talk about the contribution of men. You know, Nias, I don't know if you saw that story, that viral story on WhatsApp about Man No Rest, the guy that used to transport students in Cameroon. I think it was Southwest. You know, driving this big bus. He retired. He was Nigerian, but he retired to Nigeria. Yeah. He was living in Cameroon, but retired to Nigeria. So, you know, back then, most of those drivers, commercial drivers, even to today, commercial drivers are mostly men. Yes. And they move people and goods, you know. That's the way they contribute. Like this guy, I know throughout when I was in school, secondary school or high school, the buses we took were always being driven by men.
By men.
Mm-hmm. When I was in secondary school, my dad had I used to take flights from Tico Airport to Bisawabang in Manse. So I flew. But there were times when I took public transport or the police vehicle would bring me. The same thing when I was in CPC. There's an airport there, Bali Airport, right by CPC. So, but all those were still, the flights were still by men. The buses were all men, you know, that were moving students or even passengers. It was I don't even know if there are any female commercial drivers in Cameroon. If there are, very few.
Today there are few. Today there are few.
Listen, have you ever seen them in either Nigeria, Kenya, or Uganda?
Nope. Now that you mentioned it, I have not. I've only seen men doing that commercial driving.
Even the bike that is so popular.
Right. Even the bikes, as you call them, tricycles and tiki, what you call them, kikis, TTs.
Keke in Nigeria.
Those are driven by men. I've not seen any female drivers.
Well, no, they call keke the three-legged thing. In Nigeria, they call the bike Okada. In Cameroon, they call it Bensikin. And I think in East Africa, they call it Boda. Something, don't quote me.
We call it borders over in East Africa.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, those are being driven by men. Those are contributions. They are
Yes.
moving passengers. They are moving people. They are moving goods. You know, and I because a lot of them die also. You know, when they get into accidents with vehicles or whatever, they don't really have protection. In Cameroon,
Yes.
I don't know if things have changed, but they're not required to go for any special training or license. People just start buying, and most of those things are made in China, and a lot of them don't have safety. The
Oh,
safety
wow.
features are not really good. But
Right.
let me mute for a minute. Nia Song and Ambassador Lisa, take over.
Okay, no problem. So we're talking about the contribution of men to our homes, to our neighborhoods, society, and to community at large. So um, one of the greatest contributors to our society are, well, not are, I want to say, I don't know, because we try not to get into political um, aspirations or political conversations here, but our most recent president, our first Black president, was a wonderful example of being a leader in the community and remaining flat-footed and grounded as he continued to be a father as well, in the person of the former President Barack Obama. I thought he did an excellent job setting a standard, you know, the tie, the suit. I know a lot of men in my community, in my area, begin to go back to wearing ties and suit where they had gotten lax and were wearing slacks and or their pants hanging off their butts and, you know, just a golf shirt. Now they're going back to wearing dress shirts and nice slacks and shining their shoes. We still have a few shoe shine areas at the train station, at the airport, throughout the city. We still have a few places that you can get your shoes shine. And every time I go by there, there are men who are always getting their shoes shined. So he did a great job of setting a standard of what a man should look like, spending time with his family, making sure he still went to school for school plays and things like that. He didn't say I was too busy, I'm the president, and leave all that stuff to Michelle. I think they did a magnificent job of being grounded in and showing us how to be how to function on multiple levels in many ways with many hands in the fire, as we say, wearing many hats and doing them all very well.
We must not
Yes, sir.
ignore the fact that the man continues to be that protector in the family, in every community. When when a man is present, other men or other people tend to fear to start a fight because they believe that the man who is there is going to defend whoever is with them. So men continue to be protectors, not just in the family, but in the community and in the nation. Even, I mean, I know it is not because they want it to be that way. The army is mostly male, but not because the women don't want to join the army. In some communities, yes, it is forbidden, or not forbidden, but kind of protected so that women are kept in the background while the men go in front and take the lead.
You know, that's a good subject. That's a good point. Because I've never thought about foreign companies or foreign countries' military being open to all genders. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think as I go through the airport, do I see female military officers? I've seen females working at the airport who may work for the police. They may not. Just because they have a uniform, it doesn't mean that they work for the police department. But I'd be curious as to know what's the number of females who are in the military in our African countries.
Most countries now tolerate, well, or allow women, not tolerate, allow women to serve in their military, in the police, in the customs, and in other paramilitary groups, because they believe that the more the women are in there, they help the men to understand how better to perform their roles rather than just say man and man, man, man. No, they also let the women intervene when necessary.
So let me ask you this song. Oh God, my thought just went. Oh my God, my thought went out my head that quick. You saying how they're allowing women to be in their paramilitary. Um, but is there a push? Is there a push for advertising for women to join the military?
Not really, not that I saw in my days back in Africa. So I don't think so. I think it's just a mentality change in the men to say, okay, let them also do it, because the saying came that what a man can do, a woman can do even better. So they say, okay, let's let them do it. Let's see how they do it, and we will support them in that. So I believe that the men are getting less interested in being the sole ones to participate in defending the country. They want to see all of us, men and women, together working as a group to do to provide the protection that our people need.
So when we think about women in these masculine roles, most men, as we stated earlier, are terrified of strong women, whether they're black or white. They're intimidated by women. But on the flip side, they turn around and say that we should not be doing such manly jobs, or should not be in manly situations, because they think we're too temperamental. They think that we are too easily emotional. Oh, it's that time of the month, and now she's acting crazy. Oh my goodness. But they don't have a problem with us running their households and keeping their families. It's the same type of government that's running in the house that's running the government itself. You gotta look, you gotta have assignments, everybody has to have a job, everybody needs to know what they're doing, why they're doing it, in order to make sure that the household runs well. So eventually, I think men are going to uh, see how women contribute equally, and they won't be as intimidated. And my prayer is that it won't be so far off, because we're not trying to take your job, my brothers. We're not trying to do your job. As I stated earlier, we really want a man to lead, to guide, guard, and govern. We really want a man to open that car door, to pull out our chair at the restaurant. We do want that. But when no one is training our men to do that, when they're not training our brothers to be that, whether that leave us as women, we're not trained to do those things either. But somehow we get in and we make it do what it do, and we just learn as we go. Jesus had a do teach ministry. We have to have that same kind of mentality. But why are men? I wish I had some brothers on the show so we could ask, why are they so intimidated? We may just have to do a show just on that, near son. Just why are you intimidated by the women that God sends alongside, to walk alongside, to be the helpmeet, whether that's your wife or your partner in business? Why are you so intimidated and afraid that we would take over? Yes, granted, most women do, but we need take over because it needs to be done. Not you, near son, because I know that your household over there with your wife, I believe it was 50 years, or is it more than 50?
About that.
about 50. Y'all got the dynamic working pack. Y'all got it down pack, and it's working well. We just need to be able to transform and transfer that information and those dynamics to our other young men. So I'm glad that I have an input in my grandsons' lives. I'm trying to make sure that they understand their role, and in doing the housework as well. My middle grandson, I make sure he has the breakfast dishes to do, since it's only just him and his brother. So there's no reason why you're putting those bowls in the sink, expecting that someone else is going to come along and wash what you did. So I'm not getting pushback on the thing, sweeping the floor, emptying the cat litter. Let's put the trash out. Come on, let's make this. And I don't necessarily make it such a fun, gamey thing, but our young boys need to learn these things very, very early on. So it's working over here at my son's house.
Well, in my household, things are different because they are all men. They were all born boys. So they have not had that tendency of turning around and say it's only the girl who has to do this or that, because they're all boys, and they learned how to cook, they learned how to clean, they learned how to maintain the home when that is not there, when I am not there. They know what to do, they know how to help each other, they know how to help their mother. They go to the kitchen not because their mother wants them to be in the kitchen, but because they volunteer and say, oh, Mom, I can do this for you. Let me handle this. So the boys grew up knowing that because there are no girls in the house, they are the ones to be in the kitchen to help their mother.
Wonderful. I have three sons as well. Even my stepsons, I had two stepsons and one stepdaughter who I did not have as much access to as I did the boys. But even my sons, they're all, well, the four of them, my three sons and my stepson are all doing well in their households and their children and their families. My youngest son, who is currently still single, maintains an immaculate house, an excellent cook. And I know for a fact I didn't teach him all those things: the plating, the design, how to do these setups, these charcuterie boards he makes. Oh my God! Of course, we didn't have anything like charcuterie board. We just called them veggie plates. Put some broccoli, some cauliflower, and things on the plate, and set it out with a little dip. But his stuff is so amazingly displayed. So our men are contributing to society just by being who they're supposed to be: independent, grown, mature men. That's a contribution right there, as opposed to standing on the corner looking for trouble or waiting for trouble to find you, getting picked up for doing nothing just because you're a Black man in society. So that is a contribution, Nia Sung, that you and I have contributed to the raising of our men to adulthood, to manhood, and we're quite proud of that. I know
and we have to say thank you to the men who do not shy away from helping in the community, in the family, and in the country, in the nation, because we know that if they don't contribute, nothing will be done. So they have to be there for everyone, for themselves, and for the families in which they are raised. Please, men, we say thank you for that. As we enter this month of June, which AfricaOnline is devoting to honoring our men, celebrating our men, because we're looking forward to Father's Day coming soon.
Yes. Father's Day is, oh goodness, is what, 2 weeks away now, 2 Sundays away.
2 Sundays away. Yes.
And then June, wow. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we continue to appreciate them for what they are and who they are, what they are doing, and who they are doing it for, because they're not just doing it for themselves, they're doing it for the families, for the society, for the community, and for the nation.
Thank you, Nia Sung. So we are at that time. It's not the top of the hour because today will be a short program, but we are at a point where we want to do our announcements and talk about next week's subject and theme. And if Reverend Pam is back, she will be able to play the anthem. As I am on my phone, sitting out in my car, I don't have my laptop, but I don't really have access to our anthem, but she will be back. So in the meantime, let's talk about some of the things that AfricaOnline has going on. And the first thing I want to bring to your attention is AfricaOnline's Operation Borehole 55. Now, a borehole is something that is dug deep down into the ground where there is a water stream for fresh, clean water. And a pump is hooked up to it, and then the community can have access to it. So Operation Borehole 55 is our ongoing fundraiser to raise money to put boreholes in every country on the continent of Africa where there is a government-approved medical facility or clinic with no running water. We're not talking about just dirty water. We're talking about no running water at all. Can you imagine going to deliver your baby and someone just got off the table from delivering their baby and there's no running water? to clean all of that up so that it is nice and clean and presentable and hygienic for you. Well, this is one of the things that we're looking to change. We want our clinics to have at least a borehole with solar panels. This way the sun is constantly pumping fresh sunlight to give it energy and electricity so the water can constantly be ran and constantly of use to the clinic. And it not only benefits that clinic, there's also a pump that goes outside of the clinic walls where the community also has access to clean running water from that same borehole. Our borehole that we put in Sierra Leone is benefiting 6,000 households. In addition to the clinic, 6,000 households have benefited from your help with putting a borehole in Sierra Leone. But we need your help again because Kenya and Cameroon are in desperate need of a borehole. So would you please consider making a donation now? We'll take your pounds, your naira, we'll take your shilling, your rands, but especially your dollar. We will take so that we can put a borehole in our next countries. Did I get kicked up? I'm sorry. Would you visit?
You're breaking up.
Oh, okay. I thought I was kicked up. So we're asking you to visit Africa's Brain Bank. That's AFRICAS brainbank.org, africasbrainbank.org, and you will find a donate button there. Click on it. Just take that one little finger and click that button and donate your $10, your $20, your $30. Hey, why don't you make it a habit? Make it a monthly habit of contributing something towards the borehole so that we can bless our sons and daughters on the continent in Kenya and Cameroon next. But we're going to do a borehole in all 55 countries. Again, I want you to visit africasbrainbank.org, hit that donate button, and just drop whatever you think the Lord lays on your heart for today so that we can see these boreholes be put up.
And thank you, Ambassador Lisa. Before you continue, I know you want to talk about Ghana, but once our website is back up, then all donations will be going to AfricaOnline. Africa's Brain Bank is actually the person that is installing, executing the project. But we are asking you to go there because our website is under construction. So I just wanted to mention that. So Ambassador Lisa, go ahead and talk about Ghana.
Okay, so our next announcement is our sister organization, Africa's Brain Bank, 7th Annual Summit and Gala, and it will be held in the beautiful country of Ghana this September, this Labor Day weekend. We're looking forward to you coming and joining us in Ghana as our subject and our theme for this gala and this summit is our medical contribution. We will also be breaking grounds on a state-of-the-art medical facility, and you don't want to miss it. Haven't you ever wanted to just be on the ground floor of something great and dynamic and be able to tell your grandchildren that I was there?
That's right.
I was part of that. This is an opportunity. So come on and join us in Ghana this year for Africa Brain Bank's 7th Annual Summit and Gala. Get your red carpet ready outfit, because there will be a red carpet to walk, and our red carpet is always spectacular. Visit africasbrainbank.org again. Go to events, go to the 7th Annual Gala, and you'll find all the details that you need right there. We don't want you to delay. Get your airfare now while it is still fairly inexpensive. Get your hotel. We don't want the hotel to book up and you be outside trying to figure out if you can sleep on somebody's couch. So come on. Make that donation. Say I'm going. You want to go to Ghana. You've always wanted to go to Ghana. You always did. So come on and go with us this year, Labor Day weekend. Not just the weekend, it's actually a whole week.
It's 6 days.
6 days of activity in Ghana. So come and spend it with Africa's Brain Bank and the staff and volunteers of AfricaOnline. As we are a sister organization, we're going to have a good time. Reverend Pam?
Yeah, so next week we're going to be talking about something I call the Black man's burden. So it's a broad topic. It's going to encompass the challenges that our men face, everywhere, at home, in society, in around the world, even when they travel, both on the continent and here. That's what we're going to be talking about next week.
Wonderful. Do you have the theme ready also?
The what?
The theme. I mean, I anthem.
Oh no, I thought okay. No,
Yeah, I don't.
no, we may not be able to play because I'm on my phone. You know,
Oh yeah, I don't know how to do that on my phone either.
There's been thunderstorms in Houston, so I don't know if that's what's affecting the internet. I've not been able to get on. Yeah.
Oh no, so we won't have a theme. We won't be able to play our anthem this week.
Well, because I mean, let me see if I can. No, I don't think I'll be able to play it. You know, on my phone.
Okay, so then I guess that just leads us to go to Nia's song to
Do
the
the
round of the table.
last round, yeah.
Doing the round of the table begins with you, Ambassador Lisa. Your last word as we move to the end of today's broadcast.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Professor Niasang. So again, we are opening up the month of June, talking about the contributions of our men in the home, in the community, in society, and in the country at large. And we're going to do more men-focused activities for the month. We want you to continue to encourage our men, especially our Black men, every day. Find someone that you can encourage. Doesn't have to be your husband, doesn't have to be your brother. It can be just some random person on the bus. Do good. Do a good deed by encouraging them. Give them a kind word. Let them know that in spite of what society is doing and what society has planned, they are still our men, and we are still proud of our brothers, and that we are here to encourage, to edify, and to exalt them into the place where they need to be. Because I say all the time, when we put our men in the place where they need to be, they will turn around and pull us queens up and put us in our rightful place. Again, I am Ambassador Prophetess Lisa Parks, and we are here on Africa Online every Sunday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't know what time we come on in your neck of the woods? Use the timezoneconverter.com to find out what time we are on in your neighborhood, and join us live in the Zoom room and be a part of the conversation. Nia-san?
Thank you so much. And we turn to the chair of Africa Online Media Corporation, Reverend Pam, please, your last.
Well, before we do that, Ambassador Lisa, you did not tell our viewers you're going to Ghana.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. For all of you who are curious about me, I will be there in Ghana. So come on, come say hello. Let's hug some necks. Let's get to meet each other. Let's say, finally, I'm not looking at you, that little square. I will be live and in person in Ghana in September.
Awesome.
That's great. Okay. Reverend, you have to say your last word.
Yes. I apologize for the internet challenge. We've had some very bad weather here in Texas. I don't know what it is, but it tells you that Africa is not the only one with internet challenges, you know. So I just want to appreciate all our men. Everybody who knows me knows I'm daddy's girl. I followed my dad everywhere. Being around him was heaven on earth. You know, I lost my mom when I turned 7. So my dad was my everything. My mom, my dad, my big brother, my big sister, my mentor, my idol, everything, you know. And I'm just so grateful that I had that relationship, because a lot of people don't get to have that kind of relationship with their fathers. And I want to encourage men, if you give birth to a child, be in their lives, especially the girls, and treat them like queens, because they will not tolerate garbage from any man, you know. And then for our young men, they need their fathers too, so they don't go astray. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child the way they should go, and when they grow up, they will not depart. A mother cannot be a father to a young man. And we know that our young men face challenges in this country that are humongous.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Even things used to be bad during slavery, but now with technology, things are even getting worse and more difficult and more challenges. So let's help. And to our women, let's appreciate our men, you know, and especially make the home a sanctuary for them. When they are out there, they deal with all kinds of demons. They should not deal with demons at home. Home should be a sanctuary. They should look forward to coming home. Be submissive. I'm not saying that they should maltreat. If you submit to your husband, he will love you like never before. So I just want to, and even families, sisters, let's lift up our brothers, mothers, let's lift up our husbands and sons, uncles, because if we don't lift them up, who will?
Who will?
Yeah, so.
Thank you very much. And I will conclude as I opened with this quote: every day arrives with a quiet gift, time. We often spend our seconds rushing, worrying, planning, and trying to catch up, but gratitude only takes a moment. One sincere thank you can soften the heart, reset the mind, and remind us that life itself is already a blessing. Thank you all very much for being with us this Sunday, and looking forward to seeing you next Sunday. Bye for now.
Okay.